Good morning. I had a friend come over the other day who's a person I respect and a very thoughtful individual, and challenged me around what constitutes good government. In this instance, I would say that good is not used. The word "good" is a funny word, and it is often used in a philosophical or religious sense. But I think good in this sense means effective and accountable. I think that's important to understand that. So and I think when we talk about what it is we expect and want, in terms of effectiveness and in terms of responsibility, that's the government being responsible to us, the voters, the citizens. It can't be divorced from historical context. So I hope as this unfolds, I will do an okay job at stating what I believe the purpose and the context of this question is, both past and present, because I think there may have been, intentions around Canada in its early days, but certainly those things have changed and evolved. They have become something and mean something different. Certainly, in the post-war era, we evolved in an understanding of those things, and came out of kind of the age of kings to an age of what we believed was responsible government. We're not really seeing that now, but I think there's an expectation for most of us. And so, in spite of that collective evolution and understanding of our identity as Canadians and what democracy meant in our context, over the more recently, there seems to that has been overshadowed very quickly with a convergence of radical leftism, and that's in media, in education, and in politics. So last winter, when I was first asked by some folks associated with the party locally, if I would consider becoming the nominee for King's Hands, I said I'd consider it, and like many of you, I'm deeply concerned with the direction of Canada. As with every experience or everything I consider, I always figure there's probably someone better than me, and that may very well be the case. But I do have a heart, and I think having a heart and having integrity, having a sincere love for Canada are those are bedrock things that need to be there for anyone who would be anyone. Certainly, I would support to become the nominee and a nominee and ultimately the candidate. So anyway, there was a kind of a serendipitous moment. I went out, I think it was a Tuesday evening, with a few friends associated with the party, and I went out and I can get really enthusiastic about history and the like, and I talked about what I believed were the main bookends or defining moments for Western values, Western democracy, and really for what Canada has become. And so I talked about several moments in history. Some of them, of course, happened first on the other side of the pond, and then a couple of days later, after my sermon tirade about the importance of the Magna Carta and the English Civil War and the impact of the world wars in defining who Canadians are today, things we too quickly let go of and forget. Pierre Poilievre was in Runnymede and did a bit of a I think he did great at documentaries, actually. He did a walk around and talked about the significance of that moment, and that felt like rather kind of serendipitous, and it gave me a little more confidence that in him and kind of the direction of the party, that this party was rooted in the most essential things, the important things that makes Canada Canada. So we've had those moments where freedom, there's been sacrifice, and a measure of freedom has been attained. And in my life and your life, if you've been listening, we've reaped the benefits of these things. But as of yet, however, we failed to confront contemporary challenges. So we have this rich history, and we have a unique liberty, peace, and prosperity that we've inherited, but we haven't. We don't seem to know how to handle that, and we seem, as a result, vulnerable. And we have, for example, the rapid advance of technology, and the encroachment of globalism. So we have these, and we know it, and Pierre Poilievre has spoken about it. We have these elites who meet and they determine what the rest of us all should do in terms of how we should live, how we should travel or not, and the like. To me, that's treading on our autonomy and self-determination as Canadians. So anyway, this is going to require a kind of resolve in principles that perhaps haven't been called on for quite some time. So, I will quote very quickly, and I did write this down. So for Lord of the Rings fans, this reminded me of the very famous exchange between two of the main characters. If you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, get the book, read The Hobbit, and then read Lord of the Rings. It's fun and it's good. But one of the main characters, Frodo, says, "I wish it need not have happened in my time." And then Gandalf, who's another one of the main characters, kind of a Christ figure in a way, says, "So do I, and so do all who live in such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." So that is the question. What will we do with this time? The Liberal response to some of these, what I call contemporary threats or challenges, has been to take away rights and freedoms, and to begin to build kind of Euro type surveillance society, or to confront the challenges of the digital world. That seems like the wrong direction. It seems counter to those defining historical moments that gave rise to the kind of wonderful freedom that we've experienced in Canada. To those acquainted with the Lord of the Rings reference, to me, the Liberals are rather behaving like the antagonist in the story, Saruman, who is wooed by globalist powers and joins them because he feels they're so great and so awesome, and they can't be defeated anyway. Well, that is not courage, and that is not Canadian. So while common folks, and I'm one of those, we have tended to believe and have a lot of trust in our institutions. They're institutions that have served us well over the years, but we have seen a picking away, and I'd say it's accelerated since 2015. When the Liberals took over, but there have been setbacks happening for a number of years before that, a generation before. So we're losing grounds, and we're losing grounds, just quite simply on the value of our dollar, and the and personal autonomy and personal liberty. So this is absolutely this is the results of governments having an agenda that's independent of the will and the best interest of the Canadian people. So failing to deliver on promises and implementing things that nobody asked for in politics is, of course, nothing new. We've seen that. I've seen that my whole life. But it's happening, and we're at a critical stage, I believe, of decline now. So probably do another video that's solution-based. It's great to complain and talk. We're in a really, terrible place. I want to try to break down what would good government look like. What should a good, effective and accountable government do? So we'll explore that in the next video, but I just wanted to put something out and let you know I'm out here and I'm thinking about these things and engaging with people. And once again, the invitation is there to you to reach out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these things. So it will take very good government. It will take courage. It will take sacrifice to right the ship now, folks. That's where we are. Thank you.